It's becoming increasingly apparent that Adrian Newey leaving Red Bull, the entire organisation, at the end of the season is already having an effect on the Formula One team. If you look at the start of the season, Max Verstappen would have comfortably won all of the first five races, and he won four of them extremely comfortably. As well on top of that, and since then, it's not been quite as plain sailing. You know, the car's performance has very much regressed compared to the rest of the field. For me, they no longer have the fastest car in the field. I mean, Helmut Marko came out in the media ahead of the Hungarian Grand Prix and said they have the third fastest car in the group, behind both McLaren and Mercedes. And it's hard to disagree with that sentiment given the results of the team. And I still think there is definitely an argument to be made that Max Verstappen is overperforming in that car, and the true pace and performance of the car is being shown by Sergio Perez. And if you stick anybody else in that second seat, unless they're like an Alonso or a Hamilton or a Leclerc, they're going to really struggle. Which is possibly why Sergio Perez has had that contract extension for another 2 seasons. But that's a topic for another video. Let's have a look at these high-profile departures from Red Bull. Most notably, Adrian Newey, who is, of course, not staying on beyond this season. His fate and where he's heading is not yet decided, of course. But it's not just Adrian Newey either. Dan Fallows left for Aston Martin. Rob Marshall has gone to McLaren. These are senior figures in the Red Bull organisation, and them being left. I mean, this is the thing. This is the thing with Formula One. It's very interconnected paddock. You know, people move around all the time, and when you're successful, teams are going to offer your staff incredible offers to go, even at the increased wages, and also the fact that you have to pay them gardening leave as well, potentially. Actually, the leaving team that they're getting it from has to pay gardening leave. You still have to wait to get them for 6 months, a year, however long it's going to be. But yeah, so it's interesting for sure. I mean, former Formula One driver Christian Albers has come out in the media and said, "I've kept hearing it for over a year now. Pierre Vaca is the man. Adrian is nothing. I keep hearing that sort of thing." And by that, he means that, I believe he's saying anyway, I hope he's saying, that Adrian Newey is now not really having an influence on this current Formula One car. He might have had an influence on, definitely had an influence on last year's and this year's at the beginning of the season, but right now, it's kind of reverted back to Vaca, who's officially the head aerodynamicist, I believe, of Red Bull. Adrian Newey is the head of design, I believe. So technically, he's not the main aero guy, which he normally is in teams. He moved to a different role a few years ago at Red Bull. He's been there for so long as well, Newey, hasn't he? He's been there for 20 years nearly now, I think. So there's no wonder he wants to move on. The truth of the matter is that after a dominant start to the 24 season, news of Newey's departure did coincide with the car's performance decline. There are two factors that have played into this role, according to Albers. Newey, who gave a certain philosophy, direction and leadership that functioned so well, and the departure of Rob Marshall, which might have even had a bigger one. We can all see that the performance is no longer coming. They hoped for much more after that car update, and this is the one after Hungary. Because Hungary, they brought some updates to the front wing, I believe, and it just didn't work out. If anything, they've regressed. The car looks even worse. It was not a good performance by Verstappen compared to what he was having earlier in the year. That's part of the reason why he was doing so many desperate lunges, because he had to try and get past. He just couldn't overtake normally like he would before. He'd just stream clear and be like 20 seconds clear by the flag. Now, there is an article on F1Chronicle.com that goes into this with far more detail than what I can. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I think as well, on top of that as well, you've got Adrian Newey who's leaving. So he can't be involved in like next year's car, because that's going to be inside information that he could take to wherever he's going to go next. And Red Bull can't afford to do that. So Pierre Vaca, who has taken over from him, he's going to be the main man, and the pressure's on him. And let's be honest, nobody is Newey. Nobody's had the success of Adrian Newey. Jeremy Clarkson said it so well while he was rather drunk on the grid before the Bahrain Grand Prix. He's backing whoever Adrian Newey is with. And he was absolutely right, as it turned out. Verstappen was miles clear by the finish. So yeah, what do you guys think? Is it just a coincidence, or is Red Bull's declining performance down to Newey leaving at the end of the year. Let us know in the comments below. And where do you think Adrian Newey is, of course, going to head for next season? Because that is still undecided. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, comment, all that good stuff to see much more Formula One content just like this.